my college, when we studied abroad, they took us on these like excursions, and we did one excursion to like England. And I remember they put us all in like group rooms, and we looked around our group room, and we were like, wait, everyone in this room is diverse. And they just like were like,
Diversity
oh,
quarters.
they'll be happy together.
Yeah. They can complain about us later in private.
Big mistake. This is where we organize.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello and welcome to Cleopatra. I'm Christy Bana.
And I'm Lynn Molly, and we're two Middle Eastern comedy queens digging up the funny from the first generation experience.
Our guest today is an LA-based comedian. He performs all around. Please welcome Mr. William Cheng. Woo, woo, woo.
Hi.
Welcome.
Oh my God, thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, I'm so excited.
We're very-
It's trauma dump.
A little background about our guest. I was on a show with him recently, and I was like, I have to have you on this pod.
It's because I was very high on mushrooms.
You performed on mushrooms?
Okay, first of all, in my defense, it was a bar show, so I thought like it was like at a brewery, and if you've done shows at breweries, right? They're not exciting, and so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna have as much fun as I possibly can and not like hate myself. So I just like took a little bit of mushrooms, and then I saw a whole camera set up, and they're like the room was packed out, and then I was like peeking. I was like, oh no.
Oh my God.
I thought you were joking when you said that on stage.
I was on so many mushrooms. Yeah.
You were a full pro about
Thank
it.
you. Yeah, I broke the mic at one point. It was fun. Yeah.
Wow. What is that? What's the like experience like? That just I cannot fathom.
Yeah. It was a really dark room, and they had all these like lights in the sky. I'm like, I'm in the universe, you know. But I think I'm funny on mushrooms.
You were very funny.
Thank you. Well, I mean, just like I'm less like I get really anxious before I perform sometimes, so I just do. Sometimes it helps when I'm like, oh, I'm hilarious. So I don't know.
It was a shockingly packed and great show.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Right.
But I was thinking brewery too, and I was expecting, when you do a show at a brewery and it's just this giant room and all you can hear is barrels humming and like the audience is so far away from
it's
you.
like the echoiest, most lonely warehouse.
Exactly. So I was like, I'm gonna prepare for this.
You're like, I'm gonna keep myself company.
Yeah, exactly.
Up here.
Yeah.
But then the brewery had a little side room and we were like, oh, that's so much better.
Smart.
And packed out too. And I was like, oh no.
And the audience was hot.
Yeah.
It was a hot crowd.
It was good. It was
yeah.
good. I was like, all right.
Hot physically and laughter-wise.
Both, yeah.
It's very important. It's so hard to perform for unattractive people.
Yeah. I say, specifically, don't book me if you have uggos in your audience. So.
You heard it here first. This is why he moved to LA.
Yeah.
It's like, if you, okay, and all the 7s and below, get out.
Yeah. Including me. I'm a 5.
Shush up. Okay, so as you know, this is a podcast where we talk about the first generation experience. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and then maybe take us back how your parents or grandparents or however far back you want to go?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. It was my parents that came to America first. My mom came first in, I think, 1984. Okay. From Taiwan. Okay. So, and then she moved to, she was living in San Francisco for a little bit, and then she, met my dad in L.A., and then lived in L.A. for, 2-3 years.
Oh, so L.A. is part of your folklore.
Yeah, I guess, I don't like to say it. My mom was like, this is where you were conceived. I was like, okay. But I was born in Houston, because my...
What if everyone was like, okay, about me, I was conceived in...
Yeah, I was like, my dad came and my mom in LA, but I was born in Houston. But I guess Beyonce's from there, so I'm okay. But yeah, we moved there because my dad had a job, and they were like, all right, I guess we should just move to Texas.
What did your dad do?
Very generic, import-export. It's so Chinese.
Market. We have import-export on the bingo card of
first generation experience.
That's all they explain, import-export. What is it, drugs? What the fuck is going on?
PDF files.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I had no idea I truly, to this day, I don't even know what my dad did. So
it's like Chandler's job.
Yeah, it's very mysterious.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, okay. Came home, business, and I was like, all right.
So your mom went to San Francisco first, and she met your dad in LA, and then they went to Houston.
Yeah.
And what happened from there?
Nothing good, I'll be honest. My dad had a gambling problem. I don't know how deep we want to get, but
Honestly,
we never
that could
really
be on the
had
bingo chart now.
Huh?
Gambling.
problem.
Is that on the chart as well?
I think we need to add it. It's popping up.
It's popping up.
It's really common, especially like in like East Asian families. Like gambling's a really big thing there. I grew up in casinos. Like people like I was born and raised in Houston, but I grew up in casinos. Like we were always in Louisiana or Vegas. Like I was there when the Mirage was new. Like Siegfried and Roy, saw them like 20 times. One of them picked me up. That's why I'm gay today. You know, that's like my origin story. But like I was there in Vegas a lot. Like Venetian, I was there when the Venetian was new. They flew my parents out for 2 weeks, which is a very long time to be in Vegas as a child.
That's also like
It's a very long time to be in Vegas as an adult.
Period,
Over
right?
2 days.
Like
Yeah.
you have to know that if you're getting like a free trip to Vegas,
Yeah.
they're taking
high roller.
advantage.
They're gambling.
Yeah.
They're gambling,
Yes.
right? And I
Yeah.
got my chicken pox there. So yeah, I mean, like I kind of grew up. I mean, Houston was like home, but we were always in like Vegas or Louisiana gambling. And yeah, and then my sister came along, and then yeah, I mean, it was just. I mean, I pretty much stayed there through high school, and then I was like, peace, bye, gotta go.
I guess the gambling makes sense because moving to America, like first, like that's a gamble in itself. I
Yeah.
guess I do feel like immigrant, that makes sense. They like to take a chance. They want the American dream.
My dad was also like your typical man who was like, yeah, he's like, I'm so good at math. I can count cards and game. This is, I'm like, well, clearly not, because we are not rich, you know? And like, we were like, I remember like, we were definitely in poverty in like school, but like my mom never, like, you know, it's a very Asian, like we have so much pride. Like no one can know we're poor. I'm like, we are. Cause I was like, oh, we can sign up for like assisted lunch. My mom's like, then people will know we're poor. I'm like, we are poor. And I'm hungry, so like, let me have it. You know what I mean?
But then you stayed so thin.
Yeah, I was like, thank you. I was so skinny, twink era. No longer.
So you pieced out. Where did you go?
I moved here to LA in
Right
2006. Yeah, because I wanted to go to art school. So like I went to Otis by the airport. Have you seen
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the old IBM building. Yeah. My mom.
Shout out.
Shout out. Yeah, it was a private art school. I don't know what I was thinking. Thought I was rich. But yeah, I was like, I want to go pursue art, which already made my mom want to cry because, you know, only boy in the family. It was my duty to carry on the family legacy.
What?
And be a gambler.
Yeah, the legacy is actually generational poverty, so I'm doing it. Dreams do
What
come
art did you pursue?
true. I did illustration and graphic design.
Oh, how cool. I didn't know that. That's fun.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh, I didn't know what to do, and I was like, I always loved to draw, and then I really liked like graphic design and all those things, so I like pursued that.
Do you still use that in your day-to-day, in your career?
Yeah, sort of. Like I work in tech, so I am a UX UI designer, which is just like basically like tech slang for just like I design your apps and all the mobile and digital interfaces.
Wow, you have like real skills.
Girl, no, listen. It seems so impressive on paper, but in real life, I'm in meetings for 2 hours in a day, like, is this button blue enough? You're like, I'm gonna kill myself.
Do you feel, we kind of were talking about this before the pod, but do you feel like they're so excited to have like a diversity hire on board?
Oh, I am always a diversity hire. And I know that because every year for like Pride or like Asian Heritage Month, they're like, hey, we were thinking about like doing a little something. Would you like to help plan? I was like, why?
They're like putting you to work.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, more work? What's the budget though? What's the budget? I'll do it for a free meal. But now no one has budget. There's no money anywhere.
So you're the cover of every brochure.
Yeah. Well, my sister too. She went to art school, which, listen, my mom was like, she went to art school. She
caught it from you.
Yeah.
Was that her evacuating?
My mom, yeah, she was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Okay, listen, dramatic." But like when my sister went to art school, they gave her a full ride to like Memphis College of Art, which is not to brag, no longer in business. But they put her on the brochure and like she was on the cover, she was on the website. So yeah, I mean, listen, I'll take it.
My college, when we studied abroad, there was they took us on these like excursions, and we did one excursion to like England, and I remember they put us all in like group rooms, and we looked around our group room, and we were like, wait, everyone in this room is diverse. And they just like were like,
Diversity
oh,
quarters.
they'll be happy together.
Yeah. They can complain about us later in private.
Big mistake. This is where we organize.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it might have been alphabetical, but it felt a little specific.
It felt very specific. Yeah, I was like, that's too like not like that's too much of a coincidence, you know?
Did your school, high school, or college put you on a brochure as well?
I don't think I ever made the cover, but I haven't seen the brochure,
Okay.
so maybe I've made a lasting impact. Who knows?
Yeah.
Time will only tell.
Got it. I went to a very white high school, and I was all on our high school
Stop.
brochure.
Really?
Yeah. And I remember just being like, why am I? And straight up, one of the acting teachers at the school was like, because you are Mexican. And I was like, he just straight up said, because you are Mexican.
So confident.
And I was like, so close. I'm Egyptian. So close.
Same.
So close, Mr. Schulte.
You know, there was one other experience. I remember in high school volleyball, they used to do tournaments, and they would like set up teams in the gym classes, and they did put me on a team, and it was like all the Hispanic kids and me. And it was like, you can integrate us into volleyball. Like, I don't know
Oh my God.
why we need to be separated.
That's so crazy. I remember when I started elementary school in Texas, I didn't really speak English yet. I was just like fully in like my third grade Mandarin level, and they put me in ESL classes. And I was like, I don't.
Who's gonna tell him?
It's like you speak in English to them, and they're like, what are you
What are
saying?
you
I don't
saying? You know what?
understand.
You must be speaking Spanish, so we're gonna put you in with them. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I mean, luckily I learned English pretty quickly, but I remember I also learned a little bit of Spanish. So.
This is such a going back, but just out of curiosity, why did your parents leave Taiwan? They left separately, but was there anything like political, or was it just better life inspired?
I think it's like a lot of people where there was just like, it seems like a better place. My mom's really good friend from college moved to San Francisco, which is why she moved there. And she was like, I love it here. And my mom was like, great, I want to also see what it's about. And she just kind of never left. So she's been here for like almost like 40 plus years now. Still doesn't know any English, which is surprising.
Your mom doesn't speak any English?
Not really.
Just couldn't be bothered.
She's really couldn't. And I was like, all right. And she still got her, whole citizenship. So
Just tell her you're getting an art degree in English,
Yeah.
and then she
all
won't
of a
know.
sudden, slew of English.
Only translate the word degree. Great.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Did you have to do a lot of translating as a child for your parents?
Yeah, but like I didn't really know like how advanced their Chinese is such a difficult language. So my
Yeah.
mom's like, what does this mean on this tax form? I'm like, I'm 4. Like the fuck? Like I don't know. I don't know what any of these things are. So
Sound it out.
So yeah, I was like, I'm dependent.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know, but I did a lot of translating, and then like. Obviously like now it's just more like if I go to like T-Mobile or the grocery store, I do all the translating for that, and any of the clothing stores. My mom likes to buy things, and when they go on sale, come back and return them, and then buy it again for the sale price.
That's some serious immigrant behavior.
That is like immigrant behavior. I was like,
Yeah.
that thing was on. It was full price 2 weeks ago. We gotta go
Yeah.
back, and I was like.
You bet your ass I'm on that
Yeah.
price adjustment.
My parents negotiate at the mall.
Yeah, my mom did too, because you can you can haggle. I was like, Mom, this is like Abercrombie and Fitch. I don't, not a night market in Taiwan. Like, the fuck is going on?
It's so wild. And then like they get a deal, and I'm like, how did that work? I don't understand how you did
Because
that.
they're annoying, and then people are like, fine, you can have 10%, but it's final sale. My mom's like, solid.
Yeah.
My mom will literally like go through and like, there's a hole here. There's a hole. You see that? It's a hole. She's like, fine, you can have 15% off, but it's final sale. She's like,
Wow. I used to do that too, actually.
Yeah.
Whenever
Oh, wow,
I saw
you
like a
inherited it.
tiny mark that I think I could get rid of, I would purposefully take the one that was like slightly damaged for the
Yeah.
discount. And it'd be
do you not do that?
I feel like I have so much trauma from my parents negotiating at the mall that I would.
yeah, you're like, can I leave a tip for Nordstrom?
Truly.
Can deals.
My parents always say, too, if someone doesn't give them a deal, they're like, they're distrustful, they're dishonest, they're being dishonest. And I'm like, this is like an 18-year-old just trying to like pay their way through college.
Yeah.
They're like, this isn't Mrs. Madewell herself.
Is there a Mr. Madewell? I'd like to...
I can speak to.
Yeah, but I do the same thing where like there's something like stacked in the, I'll like reach to the back to grab the untouched, unopened, and untested one, or like I'll look, I'm like crazy.
That's true. I used to do the damaged one, and now I'm like, go to the very, very, very back of whatever even if it's like the kale aisle at Trader Joe's, I'm like, let me get the one from the very, very back and look at the date.
It's
that
the
one,
freshest.
it's the freshest. It's the one that wasn't exposed to room temperature.
Okay, as someone who did work at a bakery for a long time, that is very true. We are instructed to put the oldest in the front, so you really should if you go to Magnolia Bakery.
See that, you guys? You heard it here first. Grocery tips right here.
I also heard that those little like bread ties used to be color coded for the day that the bread was made. Those little plastic ties.
Oh.
I don't know. If
We did have stickers underneath, I think, that like would represent which one was from what day.
This is the intel we need to know what is the freshest anything.
Hot.
Yeah.
This is what this podcast is all about.
But every once in a while, like a nice immigrant would come in and be like, "Give me your freshest cupcake," and I would be like, "I see you, and I will grant you that."
Oh my god, that's so funny. Yeah.
You go to the back.
Yeah.
Like, this is where we keep the freshly baked
freshest
goods.
one. Yeah.
Want to be on my pod?
Yeah. When I worked at J. Crew, every time a Chinese person would come in, like, give us a discount. I'm like, who are you? A random Chinese family? I can't. There's a camera on me. And I just scan the code, whatever. But
That's so funny. That is true. There are some, like, anytime there are certain stores that just no matter what, they're like, and today you get 40% off. And I'm like, oh my God.
If you go into stores now, because everything's online, there are like really good deals in stores because they're like, please just come into our business. Like, we're paying so much for rent. Nobody has been in
no
here
one's
since
buying.
2020.
Yeah.
Please. And then you go and there's like nothing in any sizes. Stores,
Yeah.
I just feel like are drug fronts now.
Yeah.
Like the mall, I don't know. It's like a zombie apocalypse at this point.
money laundering scheme.
Have you
Yeah.
been to the Beverly Center lately? It's just like...
it's so scary. It's the most
I don't know
random
her.
place. Yeah, it's the most random place. It's like, what do you mean you have a Gucci store next to like some random
and Body Works.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like Mrs. Annie's worst like pretzels or whatever. I was like, no, what the hell's going on?
Know your brand.
Yeah, what's happening?
So another question is, I feel like your mom, it sounds like she's got like kind of a more conservative side. How did San Francisco do for her, like hippie center?
I don't. I think a lot of Asian people are like more conservative than they let on. But I think my mom, really, I think she would have been a fag hag. Honestly, if she just like let go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, I think she could have been fun. My dad ruined her, but like, I think she could have been fun, And God made me gay for her. I think I was like, your hair looks awful. I get it from her. She's like, you're fat. And I'm like, and you are too now. And like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think like, I mean, it's also the 80s. I think she was a little bit more like, I think maybe being in Texas made her more conservative, but from all the stories I hear from everyone, my mom used to be the life of the party. So I don't know.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fun mom.
Yeah, like a fun mom. So I don't know what happened.
Ugh, men ruin
Men
everything.
really do ruin everything. Yeah.
Behind every fun woman is a sad man.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because I was like, oh, like what happened? And I'm like, oh, I remember like, like helping my mom, like pick my dad's drunk body off the front lawn and like drag him inside.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was so
twist.
strong. I was so strong. It was like my workout. I was like,
So are you still like, how often are we talking to mom and dad these days?
well, I only talk to my mom now. My dad's, he was in jail.
Oh.
Yeah.
For?
Not to brag.
Well, you
it's
don't have to
everyone.
say.
It's a white people crime. Money, like embezzlement.
Ooh. Oh, honestly, for an
Yes.
immigrant to do that?
Yeah,
Slay.
he
Come
said,
on.
I come here for the American dream, baby, to steal money.
I love that.
And be bad at it.
Immigrant slay is white collar crime.
Yeah, white collar crime.
It is our time.
Yeah, we can do it too. Mono minority myth, we can. Yeah, no, so he went to jail for embezzlement and left me, my mom, and my sister with like all of our like. So we had to like I had to like pay the house mortgage at like 22, like and like and like and like we had to like pay off all the credit cards and all this stuff. And so yeah, I don't talk to my dad anymore, but I do get like random like Facebook messages from strange women. They're like, I'm friends with your father. He would love to get in contact with you. I'm like, who?
Wow.
Friends where? My God.
Wow.
So yeah, and then he just got deported. So
So he's in Taiwan.
he's in Taiwan now. Yeah, because like you can't. He didn't have like full citizenship, and when you commit like I don't know felony,
become removable.
you can be removed. And he was like, and that's why he was trying to contact me and my sister. He's like, I need money for a lawyer. I'm like, you're a gambling man. That's a losing bet, bitch. I'm not giving you 10 grand for a lawyer. You're gonna lose.
Wow.
So yeah,
Difficult place to be in.
yeah, but you know what? Character building. I love
You're
it.
so funny.
I'm so funny.
Right.
Thank you.
Does your mom still keep in touch with him, or is she?
Yes and no. My mom does this thing. It's very traditionally Chinese, where it's like, we'll just ignore him. And I go, you're still legally
You guys invented that?
Yeah. I'm just like, yeah.
Paper and ghosting.
Exactly.
You guys invented the two most important things in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, bro, my mom just like does this thing where she's like, because I was like, well, Mom, should we reach out to him? She goes, no, we'll just ignore it. And I go, should you get a divorce? And she's like, no, that's too much work.
What marriage? Ignore it.
Yeah. I was like, okay, this is where I get my avoidant tendencies from. I get it now.
Divorce does sound like paperwork, so
Yeah. My mom's like, I'm not doing it. I was like, cool.
And also, you would have to translate
Exactly.
all of that, so
Right.
you don't need that
I'm
either.
like a lawyer now.
You'd be getting the divorce as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be
Yeah.
doing all the stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, no wonder you were so fucking hilarious. All the childhood trauma.
It's all the trauma.
Trauma to charisma.
Yeah.
It's like a one-way street.
Yeah. The pipeline.
Did you feel a culture shock when you moved from Texas to California, or did you just feel like, thank God I'm in this more liberal environment? Or
It was definitely a little bit of both, right? Because, like, I mean, all things considered, Houston's actually an incredibly diverse city. Mm-hmm. Like, like, out of all the texts, like, people are like, Austin. Like, Austin's the whitest book. Houston at least had a lot of diversity.
Did you grow up with other Chinese, Taiwanese people around you?
Yeah, we went to Chinese school every Sundays, too.
Oh.
So my mom really loved giving me double homework.
yeah, that's where they teach you how to ignore your problems.
Yeah, exactly.
How to do it.
Yeah, they're like, here it is. You can't date if you're doing so much homework. So yeah, we would meet them there, and then they would also be in our high schools. And then when I came here, I think there was definitely like more of a liberal mindset, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, gay wasn't as like, you know what I mean? I went to
Yeah.
art school, so everyone was queer, and if you weren't, you were the weird one,
Right.
you know? So I was like, what a refreshing change of pace, you know? So
The diversity scholarship was for straight people.
yeah. Actually, though, I was like, oh, look at this, we're already straight now.
There's like a man in really bad clothes on the cover of the brochure.
Yeah, they're like, look, we have them too.
Arms folded.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so it was a little bit different when I moved here, but I like it. So, I mean, no guns, like,
Oh no.
oh, bummer.
How are you going to resolve your dispute?
Oh, what will I do? You know? And then the crazy thing was my high school was really, really, really close to a KKK chapter, like in Houston. So they would like drive in the parking lot, and like there'd be like some like hate crimes. And so I was like, okay, I need to leave this place. So
Yeah. Back to Los Angeles, where the hate crimes are only by the police.
Yeah, that's right. The way it should be.
Sorry. Anyway, I'm trying not to watch news anymore right before a podcast. I think it always just percolates into my, and I was like, oh, you guys, these cop cities.
You can't spell defund the police without the word fun, you know?
Oh, put that on the t-shirt for them.
Cleopatra. We have so many t-shirts.
Refund the police.
So you are in grad school, or not grad school, it was just undergrad.
Yes. Undergrad, yeah.
And then you graduate, and then what happens from there?
It was not a lot, I'm not gonna lie, because I graduated in 2010, and that was like not a really great time financially.
I remember it well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've lived through so many, like which one?
You mean that year that I was just applying to job after job after job?
Yeah, exactly.
The trade-off was rents were so much better.
That's what I'm saying. The rent was like at least more affordable, and you can at least go out and have a drink or two without like breaking the bank, you know? So like, yeah, so not a lot was happening. I was working in retail. Like I was working at J. Crew, and then like I got scouted to open the Tom Ford store that's on Rodeo.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I don't know. Then they shoved me in the back. We're like, we don't need to see you. We just need you to work. You're so good at the cashier. I'm like, oh, thanks. So it was just like a lot of like me like doing freelance gigs, and like so like one of my first jobs was really just like as a graphic designer, I was like photoshopping the nipple out of like fishnet shirts for like sex shops. You know what I'm talking about? I was like, look at my expensive ass degree, like 40 grand a year.
Why didn't they want the nipple?
Because it's like, for the online e-commerce site, yeah. So like you can't like show like nudity. So I would just be in the back, just like photoshopping out individual nipples.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a really fun time.
What a day.
What a day. And then a lot of freelancing up until I was like 23, 24. I got my like first, I like wandered into my first big boy job at PwC.
Wow.
What's PwC?
PricewaterhouseCoopers. It's like one of the big 4 tax companies.
Oh.
But it was like when they were like opening up, like they were like, we want to do design too with our management consultants, And my mom's like, you should get a master's in business. And I was like, look, I'm working with them now, and they're just as fucking stupid. So what was the point? I think that was, and then I just kind of kept going on the corporate route because I was like, I need to show my mom I can make money.
Oh, I bet your mom was so happy.
Thrilled.
Oh, there's nothing.
Thrilled.
We talked about this before we were recording, but my parents were like, your boyfriend's okay. And then he got a job at Disney, and they were like, he's our son now.
Well, exactly. My mom had a problem with me being gay, and then I got a corporate job, and she's like, yes, slay, faggot. And I was like, all right, got it.
She's like, don't cut me off.
Yeah.
Don't cut me off. All right, love you.
I love my gay son. I always have.
Hey, my son's gay.
Yeah, my son's
you
gay.
Take that back.
Yeah, I'd never sent his sister over to LA and forced her to tell me that she wanted grandchildren, and it was my job to carry on the family line. Yeah, I was like, okay, weird.
Is your sister having kids or gonna have kids?
Hell no.
Oh.
We're both so traumatized from our we resonate trauma differently. My sister also lives here, and she won't even date men. It's like, she's like, my mom's like, is she lesbian? I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised.
We
at
wish.
This point. I wish, you know? I lie. But like, yeah, she's like, she went to therapy, and one time she's like, my therapist told me that I have a problem with men. And I was like, yeah, I think so too.
I wonder where that started.
Probably from Dad.
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, no.
Probably not.
Oh, no. He taught us how to trust.
Yeah, he taught me how to drink. I'm just kidding.
My brother has a kid, so I'm off the hook. That's rough. Yeah, that's rough.
That's okay. Yeah, no, she's not getting any kids from us.
Is she still hanging on to it?
No, I think she gave up.
Oh, yeah. I love when they give up.
Yeah, I mean, she's like
beautiful.
75 now, and she's like, oh, fuck it, And I was like, you have a grandson, my dog, love him.
What kind of dog?
Just like a random, like street mutt. Street.
We love a rescue on
Street
this pod.
Street grandbaby. She treats him better than she ever did me, so.
And she's still in Houston?
Yeah, she's still in Houston.
She doesn't want to move out to LA?
Girl, I ain't gonna pay for that rent. We're paying for it. No, we're gonna stick with the cheaper rent. She can stay in Texas.
Does she have like a community there?
My aunt is there.
Okay, great. Fantastic. That's good. Yeah.
The one who visited LA? Or a different aunt?
A different aunt, yeah. This one was like, she's such a cool young aunt too, until she became an evangelical Christian.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, that pipeline is so interesting.
Was your family religious at all growing
No,
up? Okay.
yeah. I grew up Buddhist, but like we didn't really do anything. And then half of my
Which
family...
is how to be the best Buddhist.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, wow,
That's actually how to do it.
Let go. I'm letting go, as they say. But my family in Taiwan converted to like Christianity, and then my mom was like, "My God, they sound crazy," you know, like, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden she's like, "Gay is bad." I was like, "Why? Where did this come from?"
You were like, no, Mom, you just don't like San Francisco.
Yeah.
And those are tech bros, not gay people.
Those are different things.
You're hating the wrong
Yeah,
thing.
you're hitting the wrong thing, babe. So yeah.
So, okay, when did you start comedy then?
Oh gosh, 7 years ago now, I think.
Wow.
I started when I was at PwC at corporate, because in that job you have to fulfill a certain amount of credits outside of work to like as a certification. And so they give you money to like take courses. And so they're like, you need to take a public speaking course. So I was like, all right, I'm going to take a stand-up class.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So like...
Did everyone just take Toastmasters and then...
Yeah, they took Toastmasters. I'm like, that sounds boring. I'm going to unleash my trauma in a funny way.
What class did you take?
It was through... So my boss at the time, he made everyone in our team do improv classes, and it was like, all right, but it was through that guy. It's something called Cool Beans.
Oh, okay,
and it was in Pasadena at the Ice House.
Wow.
So, and then after that, I did my first, because you did a guide show. And then after that, I just like, there were people there, and then I just kept meeting other people and I got booked, and I just kept
I'm
doing
gonna take
it.
a guess here. You were definitely good on your first show, weren't you?
Okay, well, not surprised. She's Asian. She did ace that test. I was. Yeah. I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
I mean, it's not hard to be good when like everything else was so bad. Oops.
Yeah. And then how was the corporate improv?
That was well, they made us do like not even just like one corporate improv class. It was like a semester, so we had to go to this class a lot with like all my little coworkers, and yeah, it was fine.
HR in the back, just arms
just like
folded,
just like writing there,
squinting.
Yeah.
Like, you better not.
I think it was okay. It was fun.
All
yeah.
the scenes like, we are in a meeting.
Yeah, it was like, oh no, shareholders are mad. Yes, and, and I was like,
we ran out of paper.
Yeah,
And
I was like, okay, boring.
Let's get can we get a suggestion from the audience? Break room at Price Waterhouse.
I was like, wow. Jesus.
Your word is water cooler.
Yeah. Just me drowning myself.
And they're like, too dark.
Too dark. Yeah.
So how long were you doing a concurrent like comedy corporate track?
I feel like I haven't stopped.
Oh, okay.
Because yes, down with capitalism, but right now capitalism is here, so I need money and I like it. So I do both. And I kind of hop around. And if I'm in between gigs, then I'll take a longer period and just do pure comedy. But yeah, I mean, like, girls need to pay their rent, and my dog has needs.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, so
I just mean like a lot of people have a definitive point where they're like, okay, and then I had to like leave, or I just decided to make the big whatever. But I do think it's very sensible too.
Right? I mean, you meet a lot of these people and you're like, oh God. Like, because I met this one guy who was like, you gotta fucking quit, man. You gotta really like dive in. And I was like, you look like you quit a long time ago and I can't. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, you are an alcoholic and you smell like one. So like, I'm not gonna take advice from a neckbeard. So like...
Everyone has a different path too.
Yeah, exactly.
People that have different thresholds and capacity to like absorb risk and to, Yeah.
I think comedians that have had a fuller life tend to be more interesting too. Like, I feel like if you went to school for comedy and then you were a comedian immediately, like, I just don't know what your material would reflect.
Like, what is the life that you've lived here? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And like, when I just did comedy, it was the most miserable experience, I think, because you're not getting paid anything. You're driving around to bumfuck nowhere. Like, I did a show in like Chattanooga, Tennessee. I was like, yikes, I hate this place. Indianapolis, you know what I mean? You're doing all these places like, why'd you book me? I called 400 slurs on stage. You know what I mean?
I'm
And
so
like,
afraid of the middle of America.
oh, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, in the middle, I said someone was like, "You fucking communist faggot." I was like, "Oh my god, that is the most accurate read." So smart, so unique. Someone walked me to my car.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, and so it wasn't.
Your merch is just mace.
Yeah.
People are giving lighters. You're like, take a pepper spray.
Have fun. Be safe out there.
Don't aim it at
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, exactly. Just self-defense mechanisms. Yeah, probably. But yeah.
So we're going to pivot to some questions.
Oh, I love a pivot. Let's go.
So our first question is, Cleopatra was the queen of luxury. What
Yeah.
is a bougie thing you don't skimp on?
Oh, I definitely love clothes.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't skimp on anything to do with my appearance because I'm vain, and my parents my mom especially have always. You know when like Asian parents just like pick at you, you know?
A lot of Asian parents pick at me.
Yeah.
I do know that feeling. Hard relate. No.
Yeah. So I spend a lot of time. I mean, I also just feel good when I feel like I look nice. So that's probably the most luxurious thing.
By pick on you, do you mean, because like my mom does a thing where she always like is adjusting my clothes. She doesn't like the way the clothes is sitting on me, and she's always readjusting it, and I'm like, stop touching me.
Oh yeah, no, I think she means like I'll like FaceTime her, and she's like, my God, your face has gotten fat. And I'm like, got it.
And then you like hold it up.
And I'm like, what about now? I'm like, oh, I'm on Ozempic. Can I come back like with just like a big bubble head?
Most likely to call
you like this now, Mom?
with a filter.
Yeah. I probably will. Just one day she won't know the difference. Yeah.
Boy.
So that's probably what I would not skimp on. Skincare and like clothing. Yeah.
Cool. So Cleopatra, she wasn't actually Egyptian.
Yes.
She moved to Egypt, but she embraced a lot of Egyptian customs. What's one American custom that you've really hung on to, and then maybe what's one Taiwanese custom you can't shed?
Okay. I think the American custom I've really hung on to is air conditioning.
Ooh, good answer.
It's so American. I mean, like every time I go back to Taiwan, I'm like, this island heat is not for me. Like it's humid. It's fucking hot. There's mosquitoes. No, my mom always said, you know, she's like, we immigrated here, so you like camping was a weird. She's like, why do people camp? I was like, I don't know. She's like, you're cosplaying as a poor person sleeping outside. We immigrated here so you wouldn't have to get bitten by mosquitoes. And I was like, that's fair. So AC, because, yeah, AC is definitely something that's American. Or like even an iced beverage sometimes.
Love.
Yeah, my mom was like, that's not good for you because in like Chinese culture, you're not supposed to drink iced drinks. It's like hot or room temp everything. I was like, no, bitch, put some ice in that, you know?
I'm hanging on to that one. I like room temperature water.
Which is
Love
fine.
it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll do it, but like when it's hot, I just want ice.
I'm such an ice queen.
But like, yeah, I have to like chew on it too. I'm just like, oh, I love it. And then I think Taiwanese culture, there's a couple. My Taiwanese culture or the customs that I gravitate towards are more like around like occasions. So like my birthday, they're like, you always have to have like noodles for like long life, which is ironic because I don't want to live any longer than this. So.
But also, I always want noodles. So.
And I always want noodles, so I'm always like, all right, I'll eat it. Long life, I hope not. And then I really like, you know, when it's Chinese New Year's, there's a lot of things you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to clean like way before. You're not supposed to clean the day of, or you're like sweeping out the luck, and then you're not supposed to like brush your hair and all those things. So on the day, so those things I kind of hold on to, but nothing else. Like I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
Any superstitions that your mom or just
Oh my God.
that you still kind of...
I mean, there's so many, right? I mean, don't point the fan towards your feet or you'll be stupid. Don't
What?
What? No, wait, this is what I live for. I want all the nonsensical... Like, what?
My mom was just like, never turn on the fan, especially like towards your feet. That's gonna like make you dumb. I'm like, well, I must have been fucking stupid because I did all the time.
You point the air conditioning.
Yeah, exactly. But this one, well, air conditioning we didn't get to use in Houston because my mom was like, not the bill. So I'd have to like turn on the home fan and point it at me. And she's like, that's going to make you stupid. I'm like, well, something's got to give, Mom.
Right.
I'm going to be sweaty and stupid. I'm like, what's
but for
happening?
a million years.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's another one where like if you go to like, you're never supposed to gift anyone like a knife. First of all, why would I do that? Because you're like cutting away it's all like wordplay.
Oh.
Like cutting away your friendship or like never give them shoes unless you want them to walk out of your life. And I was like, okay. I gave 2 pairs of shoes to my ex.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Just the ugliest shoes.
Just the ugliest shoes. Walk out, bitch. And then there's a bunch that my mom would just make up. I don't even think they're like traditional Chinese. I think she was just like didn't want me to like play outside and get tan. So she's like, don't play with the geckos because if you lose the tail, it'll crop your belly button and kill you. And then I'm terrified of moths.
Wait, they'll crawl out of your belly button?
Yeah, like you know how like geckos like detach their tail?
Yeah.
Like, there's a bunch in Houston. My mom was like, watch out because that tail can crawl up your body into your belly button and kill you. And I was like, oh my God.
I would
Okay,
never.
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, I was like, hello? And then I'm, to this very day, I know it's not true, but I'm terrified of moths and flies. My mom used to be like, if a moth goes in your eye, you can go blind from the powder. And I was like, okay. Or the dust on their wings.
Yeah, the dust of their wings. Their
And so now every time one flies by, I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm already blind. And then my mom used to always tell me that like my birthmarks on my face were like flies that have landed on them and took a shit. And like left a mark on my face. So now, even though I know it's not true, I'm like a fly. I'm just imagining flies like landing on me and just like marking me with their fucking shit.
That's like that urban legend with the spider.
Yeah.
The spider eggs.
What's
like
the spider eggs?
Like a woman had like a pustule but it was a spider.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't
A lot
with
of that shit,
that.
like old YVZ, like witchy tales or whatever.
Right.
My mom used to try to do that too. Like if I had a cut, she's like, let me find a spider web. I'm like, for what? Not to put on me, certainly. And she wanted me to be a doctor. That was like another Asian dream. Like she wanted me to be a doctor, but you're trying to like use old witchy medicine on me. No.
My dad has a theory that if you're sick, you cut an onion in half and you put it next to your bed. And
I've seen that.
when I had COVID, he was like, do you have an onion next to your bed? And I was like, yeah, now I'm fine.
Yeah, don't worry. It's really soaking it all up. The onion's really sucking it up. Thank you.
Have you seen Pan's Labyrinth where they like put like a potato in milk and put it under the bed to like ward off the
No.
There's like some like weird, oh my gosh, stuff like that just creeps me out, but it's so fascinating to me.
I know, it's like so witchy that you're like, what the fuck is all of this? My mom used to like put like all those like, you know, those like Chinese like hexagonal mirrors and like ward off the ghosts. I'm like, what ghosts? Stop. What's happening?
Meanwhile, now whenever my boyfriend has like stress or any kind of like ailment, I'm like, have you tried exercise or drinking any amount of water? And he's like, what is this Eastern medicine you're spouting at me?
I was like, it's not Eastern medicine, it's just regular fucking health.
Don't date a white man.
Baby, I have, and they don't drink water.
They do not drink water.
A fridge full of seltzer. Stop. There's not water.
He's like, my head hurts. And I'm like, you haven't drank water since 2003.
Yeah, exactly. You're dehydrated. You're dehydrated. That's why you have a headache. Please.
Sometimes he tells me that he saw on Mansers. Have you seen this show, Mansers?
Yeah.
It's a probably very toxic TV show that came out maybe in the 90s. That's like answers to questions for men. And he said he saw on it that technically if you're like dying of like thirst,
you should drink a
beer can hydrate you.
And like have enough like I hear this one from men all the fucking time.
They saw it on Mansers.
Oh, is that what it is?
No,
I keep hearing it. I'm like, what
You actually know that Bud Light sponsored that episode.
They're like, yeah, it's
watery
from,
beer.
yeah.
I gotta write a letter to Mansers and be like, excuse me, they're girlfriends.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, this is Big Brew's like conspiracy theory over here. What do you mean? If you're on a desert island, trying to survive, you're like, well, this Bud Light's gonna save me. No, it's not, babes. No, it's not.
It really does trick you though.
Yeah.
Light beers in the sun. We're just like, I can keep doing this.
Yeah. And then you're like, uh-oh.
I had some friends during the pandemic. They bought a bunch of hard seltzers and they had to stop buying them because they just started drinking them as water.
See?
Right.
There's no water. They'll do anything like fizzy. I'm like, come on, just drink water or tea or something. Hydrate.
Come on.
Come on. That's why we look so good and they're aging like milk. So.
Exactly. Big hydrators in this house.
Yeah.
Big hydration nation in here. The whole like stereotype thing, it really does stick with me because as much as I don't want to believe in certain things, I like psych myself out and I'm like, maybe this jinxed me, and then my mom will be like, no, we don't believe in that, and I'm like, last week you were literally she's like, I know, but that's like, we don't believe in that, and I was like, all right.
You can sage anything away.
That's true.
Truly. That's like our like confession. It's sage. You can like murder someone, but if you sage,
you're like,
you're
don't
fine.
worry, let's cleanse that energy right now. That's bad vibes. Murder.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen,
Your
girlie.
Honor.
Your secret's safe with me. I saged her. There's no way.
Me bringing sage to the courtroom.
Yeah.
Did you sage the jury?
This is like bad vibes in here. What happened? Like, you're on trial for murder. You're like, yikes.
Let the record reflect that the bailiff has 0 crystals on her. So the next question is, the ancient Egyptians would bring their wealth and possessions and whatever into their afterlife, like their material things. If you could carry one thing with you into your sarcophagus, what would it be?
Didn't they also used to bring their pets?
Yep.
I would probably bring my dog. I mean, if he was already dead, of course. I'm not gonna be like, kill him. We're both going together. Although that would be the dream, wouldn't it? We're both racing to the same goal.
Race to the bottom.
Race to the bottom, baby. 6 years. Let's go. Live fast, live hard, and just hump.
That's our next T-shirt.
Yeah. So I'd probably bring my dog if I could. Or like maybe this necklace that my mom gave me. I like this one a lot. I wear this a lot. I don't know. I mean, probably
what is it,
either of
jade?
those two. Yeah, it's jade. My mom's like, it's jade. I'm like, what else would it be, Mom? Thank you. Not to be like stereotypical, but like, yeah, I know. Oh, green onyx? No, of course I know it's fucking jade. Everything in our house is jade.
I do feel like I have gotten to the point where if I see a crystal, I'm like, oh, blue obsidian? It's so embarrassing.
Yeah, but we live here long enough. We're like, oh, is that like I just know.
Yeah.
Like, is that rose quartz? Or like whatever. And I'm like, they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh no.
I gotta stay relevant.
Yeah, we're topical.
Yeah,
we're blending
exactly.
in. We're acclimating.
Exactly.
It's what they wanted for us.
Yes, first generation.
Yeah.
If there's anything we know how to do, it's to mold to everyone else's needs.
Look, we luck the things you do. We're not a threat.
Now it's time for a segment called Dig Deep.
Ooh, love.
Okay, we're going to ask some deep questions. The first one is, Cleopatra was portrayed famously by Elizabeth Taylor in the 1963 film. If your life were a crossover of 2 TV shows or 2 films, what would they be and who would play you?
Gosh, this one was hard because I don't know. Like one of the movies that maybe the one that came to mind first was probably like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh.
Wow.
Just because, you know, a movie about an Asian mom apologizing was so pivotal for me. I'll never get it. I was like, what a dream.
Are you ready for a big flex?
Yeah.
My friends made that movie. I went to college with the Daniels.
Did you really?
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Tell them that movie changed me on a cellular level.
They are the two most. All through college, everyone was like, they're gonna go to LA and be highly successful.
Wait, that's a huge. That's a huge flex.
I know.
And
I mean, we're
great.
not like still in touch.
Right. I know, but that's
like,
stuff like that. You're like, yeah, but like they, yeah. That's
I will
amazing.
say I was unfortunately closer to White Daniel, but just because he was my year.
Yeah.
And he was in all my classes.
Yeah,
and
that
like
makes sense.
so brilliant and interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, I think that one's very interesting to me because it's about like, you know, like living multiple lives and being okay with like the mundane of things. And, you know, there's a lot of allegories to suicide there. I'm like, oh, I relate. And so I think like that movie was very interesting and pivotal. And then maybe a TV show, I don't know. Fleabag always resonated with me. You know what I mean? In the sense of like she's such a disaster, and then in the end, you know, you see her like rising up from the still can't find love. So that's me. I am upgraded in every way except for except for love. So maybe those two, and then like who would play me? God, I don't even know. There's not a lot of Asian actors out there. If I was to go with a realistic answer, I get this one a lot, and it hurts my feelings. Sorry if anyone hears this, but I get this once a day, which is like, I get Bobby Lee a lot.
What?
They're like, you look like a yassified version of Bobby Lee. And I'm like, I'm going to go kill myself now. Sorry, what? That's so offensive.
You look like the other Asian comedian, is what they're saying.
Yeah, I was like, gross. No offense. And we are, you know.
No offense, but I would die.
But I would fucking die if he sees this. I don't care. And then...
No disrespect to Bobby Lee. We love you.
No disrespect, obviously. But I'm like, obviously they're just
well, they just see, they're like, oh, it's an Asian person.
With facial hair, and I'm like, that's it. But if I was going to be like optimistic, you know, like Sofia Vergara like played Griselda, and she's like nothing like the actual Colombian drug lord. Have you seen it? Do you know that?
I don't know. I mean, I know that I don't think I've actually seen a photo of the original.
Very generous. Sofia Vergara's like, I put so many prosthetics on. I'm like, you just look like a still above average, very pretty woman. Griselda was very terrifying looking. You know what I mean? If I had to be, I was like, oh, maybe like Charles Melton. Be like, he's like extra hot. You know what I mean? But I had to be like
for you.
generous.
Honestly, I could
And your
see
hair,
that.
your hair is doing
I would be generous.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
it's doing
that's
a
me.
May-December.
Yeah, during a May-December
Sure.
moment. Yeah,
I
probably
love this
that.
for you.
I do too.
Yeah.
There's been clearly not enough, but just between 5 years ago and now, the amount of like Asian American representation, and do you feel like that's impacted how you see yourself in Hollywood, or do you feel like it's changed how you approach like comedy or how you move in this industry?
Yeah, that's a good question. I definitely think like, obviously we love to see more representation in the media. That's fantastic. There's been great stuff coming out. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't really changed my comedy approach, because I think that's just what we bring to comedy, which is just like this perspective. And do you get this a lot? Like, do you guys get this a lot when you're performing and people are like, I heard that joke from another immigrant, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that's a very, like I used to do this joke where I'm like, oh, my parents wanted me to be one of four things: a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, or dead to them.
Right.
And then she's like, I heard a variation of that joke from another like comedian. I was like, yeah, were they from immigrant parents?
Yeah, it's called reality.
Yeah. It's a generational experience. I'm not like stealing a joke.
Yeah.
But I think like my approach hasn't really changed. It's still my lived experience, and so I will continue doing that. And just I'm more bold with some of the stuff. So I used to be like, oh, I'm like, oh, I don't want to offend people with some of the stories, jokes I tell. But now I'm more bold with it. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. Yeah, people have said weird things to me in bed. Maybe called me a slur in the middle of it without letting me know. What? Yes, bitch. Grindr is such a scary place for a gay Asian person. Like, if I had to hear my penis being called an egg roll one more time,
no.
My God.
What?
My God, it's 3 times. That's a lot. I told my therapist that. She was like, 3? Get off that app. I'm like, you're right.
One time is too
One time
many.
is too much, you know?
3 is a conspiracy.
Yeah, and then I remember one guy came over, and then in the middle of it, he's like, yeah, you dirty chink, you like that? And I was like, oh, no, he said, he was, yeah, you dirty gook, you like that? And I was like, oh my God, I'm not Korean. Call me a chink. I was like so high. And I was like, you know what?
You were mad that he used the wrong slur.
I was like, how dare you use the wrong slur? No, I'm just joking. And I was like, oh, you know, let's work on that in therapy. Let's not have no one call me a slur, you know?
That's wild. Do you think they think that's like what you want to hear?
Well, like he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just like not into. He's like, I'm just into race play. I'm not racist. And I was like, what is race play?
I've never heard that
And
term
also,
before.
let a girl know when you're about to spring race play.
Wow, that is truly frightening.
Yeah. Now I just don't have sex at all. It's like, let's avoid that problem altogether.
And that's how we keep the racists out.
Yeah, exactly.
Amen.
Amen.
I like that I was like, yeah, how do you feel about like more Asian American like as if you were gonna be like, I hate it and I don't want it. I think that one of the things that occurred to me was, in addition to just it being good to have more diversity, I also like that the more stories that are told, the less pressure it puts on any one individual to like represent the culture
Exactly.
and have to be a spokesperson for everybody, which has
Yeah.
helped me a lot.
Yeah, no, that I agree with that, because it's like I'm not the ambassador of this like all Asian comedy here, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, yeah, so I agree. That's a good
Literally
thing.
last night at a mic, we were in the front row and a comic goes, "Oh, you two are Arabs? What do you think about Israel Palestine?" And we were like, we're not answering that from the front row of an open mic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, don't do crowd work with other comedians, you
that's
insane
what?
person.
It was so wild, and it's like I literally was like, I go to my therapist to like discuss stuff like this, and she's like, "Oh, nobody identifies you with war." And then this happens, and I'm like, I guess I have to restart therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. Because it's like, all of a sudden, it's like your duty to now. I was like, hello?
Yeah.
What's your stake? What's your
Like,
take?
I don't know how to read. Come on.
Well, yeah, okay, what's your take? Random man in the front row at some random open mic bar at like 12 a.m.? Calm down.
Don't put me to work
Don't put me
right
to work.
now.
It's also not like comedic.
No, it was so unfun.
It's not fun.
It's just, that also
What jokes
happened.
can you make about genocide? There's no jokes there, babes.
It's also
Stop doing it.
A comic we had on this podcast, Galina Ravina. She's Ukrainian, and for a while she had to do a joke where she's like, "I'm Ukrainian. Don't ask me about it. I don't know."
There we go.
And it's like, why does she have to be the spokesperson for the
Yeah.
Ukraine war?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, can't she tell her Tinder jokes in peace?
Yeah, when people ask me that too, they're like, well, like, what are your thoughts about, like, you know, China and Taiwan? I'm like, that's so crazy. I haven't been back since I was 11. I don't know.
But I know the difference between New York and LA.
Yeah, exactly, which is
Absolutely.
crazier.
Never ask a woman her weight, her age, or her thoughts on Taiwan.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Okay, keep the PG here. I don't know. Yeah. Who cares? They already have our data. Whatever.
So we have a second question
Ooh,
for
I
you.
love. Go for it.
Cleopatra was known for her legacy as a scholar, a historian, a leader. What would you like your legacy to be, and what would you like your epitaph to read?
Oh my God, that is so
Deep.
hard and deep. I mean, was that my grind? Turned into my grinder profile. Uh-oh.
Can you say that again in an accent?
So hot and so deep, huh?
Somebody's gonna clip just that out and sell it.
No. I don't know. I guess like what would I be known for? I guess like just someone who survived and tried to make the best situation that they could. You know, I'm always trying to like break a generational curse in some way. I'm hoping I'm doing it by just like being lighthearted and fun. I think like traditionally my whole family has been very, very serious, and like I think I'm what they describe as the first clown of the family. And so
I'm sure they said so lovingly.
yeah, this is so lovingly a clown, a mess, a jester of a type. But I think in many ways that like, you know, I just want to be known as someone who is like, you know, like who tried his best and survived and is making a life for himself and is pursuing things that like, because a lot of my family in Taiwan, they didn't pursue the things that they wanted to do. A lot of them are actually quite creative, but they just felt like they couldn't do it. And I was like, me and my sister are like the first to kind of just be like, fuck it, we're gonna go to art school, you know? And we did that. And so I think, you know, and then just being like fun and happy and like someone you can always like call up and go out with. And that's the vibe. My epitaph, I don't know. Didn't want to live for too long, and yeah, here he is. Drink in hand, dick in mouth. Let's go, baby. I don't know. It's okay.
Again, reads like a dating profile.
I'm actually just taking notes for my from now. Yeah, I don't really know how to write a good epitaph. I don't know. I don't know. What would your guys' be?
Did you have one? I feel like I never answered this question and still would have to come back to you
It's
with
hard.
it. Yeah, that's a really tough one, especially as writers.
Yeah,
I feel like
exactly. I want to be
it must
perfect.
be perfect, yes.
Yeah.
When I was in high school and discovered Monty Python, I really loved Holy Grail and especially the Tis But a Scratch. So I thought it would be funny to have an epitaph that said Tis But a Scratch.
Wait, that's actually hilarious. That's great, actually. Because it is. Like, metaphorically, life is just a scratch.
Right.
Wow, so deep.
'Tis but an etch on limestone. What do they make headstones
Did
out
you know
of?
that people are stealing the metal plaques off graves right now?
Why?
That's like a thing.
Are they made of real gold? Is
There's
that why?
metal, and you can make money off them.
Oh,
Like
God.
actual, like,
Can you imagine
like nice metal?
having somebody steal the catalytic converter off your mausoleum?
Oh my God.
I mean, as much as I'm like, oh, it's like stealing something sacred. I'm like, oh, he must be in a pretty bad place. if
Yeah,
he-
I was like in my head. I was
Yeah.
like, look how the state of the world
Yeah.
that we have to be like grave rubbing.
Yeah, I truly feel
plaques.
worse for that
gosh.
community because, like, when you're gone, like, I'm very much of the philosophy: when you're gone, you're out. Like, none of this matters.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to live a good life right now. And
Yeah,
then
me
dip.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of noodles.
Yeah, lots of noodles.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Do all the drugs.
So there's no like afterlife or talk about anything like that, like in
Ooh, like what?
personally or in your family or culturally or.
Well, they're just somewhere in the ether, the energy of the world. You know, I think like it depends what sect of Buddhism you follow. My mom was very much like, you see that cockroach? That was a criminal in a past life. I was like, okay, mother. Or it's
Right.
just a fucking cockroach. Weirdo. Not every animal on this earth is a reincarnated horrible person.
And everyone knows that criminals are resilient.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually a motivational
Dad?
speech.
Like every
Yeah.
cockroach I see. Dad?
See that?
Father?
Gambling debt right there.
I'm like, give it
Still
back.
gonna survive a nuclear holocaust.
Yeah, exactly. But it's really just about like, you know, like I think like the idea is that you return to the energy of the world. You're not necessarily like alive. You're just, I don't know. There's just like an energy. I think, right? As I think that's the most what my mom believes in, and maybe me to some degree. I don't know. That's like I mean, I'd like to think that there's something else out there. Maybe not ghosts, but like a presence. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Totally.
We'll accept it.
I told my roommate, because like she's like such a like logical like, I was like, and we were watching that the celebrity like medium whatever, and I was like, I'm gonna go channel. I was like, when I die, I'm gonna channel myself through every medium, and you better go find one, and then I'm gonna say this exact thing, and then so I give her like a test.
Okay, yeah, so it's like the password to know that somebody's not scamming you.
Yeah. I was like, this is what I'd say.
Say chicken wire.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the password.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's how you'll know there's life after Earth. That'll be my test.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I watched a Netflix documentary on like near death experiences and
Me too.
people. Have you seen this one?
Yeah, I've seen this one. Yeah.
And they have like an episode on like mediums and whatever, and it is really.
I once had a Lyft driver tell me the story of his near-death experience. So kind of the same thing as watching it on.
What did he say?
Oh, he just had one of those situations where he was like in the hospital and then like technically legally died for like a minute or something.
Yeah.
And then he like, and I was like, why am I hearing this on the way to my like UCB 201 class? Like, I don't need this energy. But
you better have fucking yes-anded him.
Yeah.
but he did say after that he was no longer scared of death, but he's still scared of clowns.
That's so sad. I love that. Me too, Gully.
Yeah.
We felt attacked. Like, what? You fear me more than death? Okay.
Yeah, as a clown,
Yeah.
do you feel attacked
Yeah,
by
I feel
that?
so attacked from my culture as a clown.
The near-death, I like to... There's a very interesting book called Dying to Be Me by Anita Moorjani. I'm re-listening, and she talks about her near-death experience.
Ooh, Moorjani, what kind of last name is that?
She was an Indian woman. I think she's actually still living in Hong Kong, and she was... One of the interesting things she talks about is the different modalities of healing that she investigated when she had this, like, stage 4 cancer, and how, like, Indian versus Chinese medicine were, like, in direct conflict with one another, and how her near-death experience, like, clarified a lot about healing for her. And I I always want to hear about a good near-death experience. I don't like that he was driving at the time because my mind was like, yeah, one time I just was a very unsafe driver.
Yeah.
And we almost...
That's like the equivalent of when you see like a car on the road that's like so broken down, you're like, oh, they've got nothing left to lose. Like, stay away from them. Like, they'll swerve into you. Their car is deeply...
Yeah, when somebody's... Or like when somebody's car is keyed. And I'm like, I hate to be a victim blamer, but I'm always like, did this person do something really fucked up?
But in their defense, do you ever do that thing where people park badly, so you park badly because you have to park badly in response to their bad parking, so everyone's like slightly over the line, and then you get keyed, and you're like, no, but the other guy was over the line.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Yeah. Have you had your car keyed?
Somebody scratched a dick into my car maybe 11 years ago, and I asked how much it would be to repaint the door, and they said $700, and I was like, my car is a boy now.
Yeah.
My car has transitioned, and I am proud of he, him.
Oh, I love it.
Yes, it's beautiful.
He, him, Honda, whatever.
Yes.
He, him, Honda?
It's a Toyota.
Oh, sorry. He, him,
Excuse me.
Toyota.
Say it with me, Trans Toyota. Okay.
Transmass Toyota. Love it.
Yes.
I only now am starting to realize that there is a disincentive to going like whole hog on the headstone. If people are out here stealing headstones.
Would you want to be in a headstone?
Well, aren't we all getting cremated? Like, who's got, like, gravestone money?
Yeah, exactly. I want to be dust, bitch. I want you to take I want you to rip a line on
Like
my body in it. You know what I mean? Cut me with some good stuff.
Moth dust that goes. I want everyone gets it thrown in their face, like at a wedding
like
instead of
Diwali.
flower petals. We're throwing ashes.
I've requested to be dumped in the Seine in Paris. That's my big ask. So I can
the Seine in
finally
Paris.
learn to speak French fluently.
Actually against our religion to be cremated. So
is
I
it
guess,
really?
Yeah, we're gonna have to be boxed.
Don't you have like a coffin already? Didn't we talk about this on your episode?
Jesus.
Oh yeah. Well,
like a
I don't
plot or
have a
something?
coffin. Well, first of all, pro tip: Costco does sell coffins. It's
Oh, I love that. I have a
really
membership.
But no one. When my dad passed away, kind of recently enough that like maybe about 6 to 8 months ago, I was on the phone with the coroner's office or whatever, and they were like trying to upsell me on headstones. And they were like, no, you're gonna want to come in, you're gonna want to see the materials, we have different types of stone and different fonts and blah blah blah. And I said, couldn't I just look online to see what's available? And he was like, well, if you want something basic, but your dad, I mean, that's gonna be what has his name on it, and you're gonna really want to honor him. And I was like, I'm gonna stop you right there
That's so messed up.
and tell you
That's
that
so
I really
crazy.
don't appreciate that you are trying to capitalize on a delicate, vulnerable situation. Can I get your name, please? Because
Ooh, that's right. You bring out that white lady
you
voice.
absolutely,
You said,
I was
absolutely
like, let
not.
me tap right into this. I was like, you are messing with the wrong person. I can compartmentalize like a motherfucker, and the fact that you are saying to me right now that I need to spend more money because the more money I spend and the nicer the headstone, the more of a reflection of my father and how I felt, is so manipulative and
That's
such
so
an
crazy.
uncouth business practice.
And you're
can't
like, but I
believe they
will
said
take the
that.
blue obsidian.
It better be all jade.
Yes, Jade.
And this is, I think I've told this joke before, but like, do you know when someone's lying to you? Like, I asked the guy, I was like, let me get your name. What's your name? And he's like, it's Fiat. I was like, what? He's like, Fiat. I was like, Fiet. And he went, yeah. And I was like, that's not how he's spelled it. I shouldn't have spelled it out for him.
Link to the Yelp review in the show notes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Everyone
Google
leave a review.
bomb. Yeah, absolutely.
And it was just the most... I was so put off by that, and it drove me away. And so this is actually an errand that still has been unresolved because
It's so recent. What's the number? Give it to me. What's the place
I'll
called? Let's shout it out.
Yeah. The point is, a point a level-headed person who's not gonna just be like, okay, a diamond headstone. We'll put all of our money into the ground, literally. Like, it's so insane. Anyway, that's just a nice little sidebar.
No, that makes sense. Though. I mean, I don't know about your parents, but my parents were also like practical immigrants, so they're like, fuck it, I'm dead. Just throw. You can fucking take a little hammer. You went to art school. Chisel it out yourself. I was like,
hey,
okay.
Michelangelo.
Yeah, I was like, okay. It's gonna be crooked.
One thing I want to circle back to is the conversation of I am my father. I kind of want to like go around and be like, are there moments for all of us where you are like, oh no, I've turned into my parent? Like, I know for me, like one thing is like if I have people over, I'm like scrubbing the entire apartment like wildly, and I'm like, there's not enough food. There's not going to be enough food. Everyone's going to be hungry, and what if they're not happy? And that is when I see my mother. And also every time I look in the mirror and see my arms, I go, I have my mother's arms.
Every time I read a billboard aloud while driving.
Oh my God.
I'm like, wow, okay, this guy's surgery implants, okay.
So real.
That's so fucking real. I have my dad's head shape, which I fucking hate. That's why I have my hair cut in a certain way, because like, it just, to better describe it, I don't have the back of a skull. And my mom was like, it's because your father, he looks like he has that skull that's been like pinched off when he was given birth. I was like, Jesus fuck, Mom. So now I have this hair like this. And so every time I see like profiles of my head, I'm like, oh, I am my father. That, and when I'm like really wasted, I'm like, I definitely got this from him.
A friend of mine, because you know how like immigrant dads do the thing where they walk with their hand behind their back?
Wait, I do
always.
that.
Yeah, my friend said she saw her boyfriend doing it, and she was like, no, I'm dating my dad.
Yeah. I do that when I'm walking my dog. I like have my hand like just like.
I don't know what it is about immigrant men where they just
like,
do this one day.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh no,
there.
you're right. I actually do that.
Yeah, it's giving 1940s cross-examination.
Yeah.
You're just pacing with your hands behind your back. Yeah. Okay, Atticus Finch. William, that is our podcast.
Oh my God, already?
Yes.
That was so fun.
I
had a good time. Time really flies by.
It really does. You are so freaking funny.
Oh, thank you.
And have amazing taste in clothing and
nipple remover.
And nipple.
Yes, and Photoshop choices. What would you like to promote? How can people find you?
I guess you can follow me on my social media on TikTok or Instagram at Some of Yum, SUMOFYUM. I don't know why I have that. It's one of those like usernames I've had for a while, and now I refuse to let it go because I saw a white mommy like food blogger. Like, there's a food blog called Some of Yum. And
excuse me,
like SOME,
like SUM.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
And I always get tagged in those recipes. I was like, oh, okay. Those meatballs look good, I guess, Karen.
Take the follows.
Yeah, I'll take it. But now I refuse to let it go. I'm like, sorry, bitch, it's mine.
Okay, so we are going to link to that in the show notes.
Perfect.
And you can follow William and see what he's up to and check out where he'll be performing next. If you liked this podcast, we would love it if you followed us, left us a review, or just email us and tell us your crazy superstition or your weird family situation. Maybe we'll read it on the air. We really can't thank you enough for coming.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thanks for joining us. I've been Christy Bana.
I'm Lynn Molly.
And I'm William Cheng.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.